Hey, Melinda Haynes, license number 102308. So, establishing boundaries, a good idea for early therapists is to, or new therapists, is to have strong boundaries. Now, in our internship, we don't get that full boundary enforcing experience because we have maybe a receptionist, we have maybe a billing manager, we definitely have a supervisor, and that person's helping us along, sometimes telling us exactly what to say, during those early stages. But as we move on and we go out into our own, and maybe we have a private practice or something like that, we definitely need to have those boundaries in place. So it's a good idea to get into the habit of having those firm boundaries around certain aspects of your career and your therapeutic relationships. So for example, you're going to want to know, how often can clients contact you in between sessions? Will you charge for those consults? Will you have a business phone, or will you allow clients to contact your personal phone? Will it be a cell phone? Will they be able to text you? How much information are you going to allow that, to go on in those texts? Are you going to have that in a policy? Are you going to have a social media policy in your disclosure document? What's the interaction level and what are the boundaries around that? How much do you charge for a normal session? And when will payment be due? Are you going to take cash? Are you going to take a check? Are you going to take credit card? Are you going to do it before session, after session? How is that going to look? And also, what is the consequence for late payment? Now, I know that, we want to think, as we're going in, we want to think, oh, well, if they're late, and paying, I'm going to, do this and that. But then the reality of it is, oh, I know this person's financial situation. I understand, we have that compassion, that compassionate heart. That's why we're in this profession. So we have to kind of plan this out in advance so that we don't just get totally used and end up working completely for free. Those kinds of things aren't going to help anybody. So also the late cancellation policy, for example, if somebody cancels all the time, you might consider that's resistance. They need to, stop coming to therapy and then come back when they're more prepared to do that deep therapy work and not just kind of, find reasons not to go. But if you have a client and their child is sick or, those kinds of things, are you going to give some leeway? How much leeway are you going to give? And is it going to be on a case-by-case basis, or are you going to be straight across the board? So you also need to think of how important is your income based on how strongly you enforce your boundaries. So for example, you are in dire need. Maybe something came up, you have an extra bill to pay, or you're just getting started and you only have a few clients. And so you're like, well, I can take all the clients I can get and I really need the money right now. Is that going to impact your enforcement of your boundaries? Are you going to be like, oh, I'm so desperate, I need to, give this client more wiggle room? Well, what's going to happen down the road is, you're not maybe in that financial situation anymore, but you've taught a client to, be extremely late, be extremely late on their payments, or, just to wait until you're threatening collections or whatever. So you want to go ahead and set those boundaries early on and look at that impact of lack of finances, like how that could affect the way that you set your boundaries. Also, another thing is, are you emotionally strong enough to handle the client's resistance, their strong emotions, their disagreement over therapeutic interventions? Are you strong enough to handle transference? What are your boundaries around all of these things? These are just a few. These are just a few of the boundaries that we need to set as therapists. So think about that. Think about some boundaries that you want to set going into the profession. Practice them early on, and see how it fits, see how it feels to be able to set a healthy boundary that's not only good for you, but that's also good for the client, that's good for the healthy relationship. The relationship itself has to be like a solid, safe container. The relationship can't be wobbly, like, oh, whatever goes, it's this way this week and this way the next week. It has to be a safety container in order for the client to be able to heal and do the therapeutic work that's necessary, for their progress and their treatment. So If you have any questions, just, contact me. Thank you for watching.